What a lovely day. I love walking by the seashore. Hello.
Hi,
Hello, Bunny.
how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And how are you?
Not bad, except
Except,
my tummy's rumbling.
let me hear.
No,
Don't worry, I've got big ears. I can hear from 2 meters away. Ooh, your tummy is rumbling.
yes,
Did
I
you
am.
eat too many beans?
No,
Then what?
I missed my lunch.
Oh.
I am very
Oh,
hungry.
that is so sorry.
Yeah, I'm very
Mm.
hungry.
Wow.
How about you? What did you have for lunch?
Oh, I had some bananas and some oranges and some.
Stop, I can't listen. I'm too
Wow.
hungry.
Then you are not going to like our next story because, or you might like the next story because it is all about food. A big picnic with lots of food. I think I can't remember.
All
Let's
right.
let's hear what Leslie tells us
Yes,
about
and
the food.
I hope I can find something to eat.
Eat.
Okay.
I'm hungry. I want to have some food as well.
Okay. Enjoy the
Bye.
story. Bye.
Hi, boys and girls. How are you all today? I wonder if you've been outside recently, maybe enjoyed a walk to the park or out on your bike for a little bit of exercise with the grown-ups in your house. One of the things I love to do outside is go for a picnic. And maybe some of you have had picnics in the garden recently. I know we can't go far, but picnics are still fun. And I love a picnic. And even on a wet day like today, we can have a picnic, even in the house. I've got my picnic basket here, full of all the things I love. I've got my favourite juice. I've got my sandwich all packed ready. I've got some of my little favourite cheeses and some fruit, even some lovely strawberries. I wonder what you like to put in your picnic, boys and girls. What sort of things do you like to pack? I know one or two of my little friends have let me know that they've had teddy bear picnics in their garden recently. And today's story is about a picnic. It's about a little boy who shares his picnic lunch with an awful lot of people. It's called The Marvellous Picnic. It's a story from the Bible. And here's a picture here of the little boy sharing his lunch with lots of different people. The story is called The Marvellous Picnic, or you might know the story as Jesus feeds 5,000 people. It wasn't long before lots of people wanted to hear Jesus talk about God, and many more wanted him to make them well, so they followed him everywhere, from town to town, from city to country, and all the way back again. "Oh dear, we need a rest," Jesus said to his friends one day. So they took a little boat trip across the Lake of Galilee, hoping to camp for a while in the hills beyond. But the people were so eager to see Jesus that they raced around the shoreline to meet him on the other side. Jesus was tired. He was really tired. But when he turned and he saw the people following him up the hill, he stopped. "They're like sheep without a shepherd," he said to his friends. "They need someone to show them the way." So he sat himself down right then and right there, and he started to tell them stories. "God loves you," Jesus said. "He knows what's best for you. The most amazing things can happen when you trust in God." Jesus said a lot more than that, and he told lots of stories. He taught all day, in fact, and by then the people were getting really, really hungry. "Philip," Jesus called to one of his friends, "can you go out and buy some food for these people?" Philip just laughed. "There are so many people here, probably more than 5,000 of them. It would take 6 months' wages to buy food for all of these people. Then Andrew, Peter's brother, spoke up. "There's a boy here, Jesus, who has a little food, 5 loaves of bread and a couple of fish. It's not much, but it is a start." "So it is," grinned Jesus, and he rubbed his hands together as if he were about to go to work. "Make the people sit down in little groups. Tell them we're going to have a picnic." Jesus' friends looked at Jesus. They looked at the boy's little lunch. They looked at the enormous crowd. Then they looked at each other and just shrugged. "All right," they agreed. "Whatever you say." Jesus smiled as he watched them go. Then he bowed his head and he said a little prayer to thank God for the food that had been provided. Then Jesus started to break the food into pieces. The friends returned and began to pass out the pieces of food, and to their amazement, there was plenty for the first group, and for the second group, and the third group, and then every other group too. Plenty for everyone, more than enough to go around, so much so, in fact, that there were 12 baskets of leftovers that they could take home with them. The people patted their tummies. They struggled to their feet. They wiped the crumbs from their mouths, and some of them even gave a little burp. But all Jesus' friends could do was stare. "It's just as you told us," they said to Jesus. "God can do the most amazing things. All we have to do is trust in him." Then he smiled at his helpers, popped a chunk of bread in his mouth, and started off for home. Isn't that a lovely story, boys and girls? A miracle that Jesus performed. He was able to feed so many people. Jesus taught this story to remind us that we can do the same, especially in difficult times like these, where many people are struggling. And it's a little lesson to us, a story that tells us that we can share what we have with those that don't have so much. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's story, boys and girls, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.
Who took fish and bread round people fed? Who changed water into wine? Who made well the sick? Who made see the blind? Who touched earth with feet divine? Only Jesus, only Jesus, only is and is. Who made life the dead? Truth and kindness spread. Only Jesus did all this. Who does the roads he rode there for young and old? Who set children on his knee? Who spoke words so wise, filled men with surprise? Who gave all the children free? Only Jesus, only Jesus, only is and is. Who in death and grave spoke his truth of faith? Only Jesus did all this. Who spoke through the air, joined his Father there? He has you and me in view. He who this has done is also his Son, and his secrets to you. Only Jesus, only Jesus, only He is and is. He entered your heart, gave a fresh new start. Only Jesus did all this.
Today we will be making bread and fish paper chains from the Feeding of the 5,000 story. We will have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes and make them expand. Not as much as Jesus did though. For this you will need one blue paper and 2 yellow or brown paper. If you don't have this, you can just use white paper and colour it afterwards. You'll also need a ruler, scissors, 2 shades of brown, a pencil, a black pen and a silver pen. You will need to divide each piece of paper into 3 strips. If you're doing on A4, 7 centimeters will work. So as you can see, I have done one for the fish, which I only need 2 of these strips, and then one of the bread piece of paper, which has all 3 I'll need on it. So I need to get 2 more. I'm going to measure it at the top and bottom of the page. Then I'm going to put them together. Do that with all 3 of your pieces of paper, then you go into the next step. For this step, you might want to get an adult to help. You'll need to cut along all your lines with the scissors. Remember, for the yellows, you will need 5 strips. For the blue, you will only need 2. The next step after that is getting the chain done. So I'm going to do one of the fish first. What you're going to want to do is fold it in half. And half again. And then one more time. You can get that to help you if you want to. So that's me. Then you're going to want to get your pencil again and then draw that. Then you want to unfold it, and then you want to fold it back the way. This is called concertina or mountain and valley folds. So you fold it back, then forward, then back, then forward, then back, then forward, then back. Then you'll want to draw what you're doing. So I'm doing the fish first. You want to make sure your edges are thick so it doesn't break off. Then you can add a bit of detail like gills. And then you can get an adult to help you again. You're going to want to cut out along fold it. You got a chain, and then you can add your detail to all your fish. Next, you're going to fold all your strips in the same way shown before, and then draw your pattern of your fish or your bread on fish on the blue, bread on the yellow. I want to do a bread to show you something like the bread to do. Then you can add detail on it. And got to toe. Unfold it. You got bread, and you can add detail to it, to all the pieces. Afterwards, you want to do that the same with the blue, with the fish, and then all the yellows would be the same as the one that I've just done now. Once you've done that, you can add colour to your pictures. You can add scales to your fish and add colour to them if you have white paper. You can also put lighter brown inside these little bits if you've done the same design as me. If you have brown paper, which you've done the bread on, you can do different colours, do different shades at different places. And then you've got yourself your chains from the Feeding of the 5,000 story, and enjoy them, but don't eat them.